everybody, I am Shane.
And I'm Matt. Welcome to ABC Interactive English.
Okay, so we're still talking about asking about time and date. This is part C, a business trip.
Oh, yeah, speaking of asking about time and date and business trips, I have been meaning to ask you, when are you going on your business trip?
I actually already went on my business trip. I got back a couple of days ago.
Oh, that was fast. And where did you go?
Well, I went to Paris.
Wow, Paris. Paris is beautiful. That must have been an amazing trip.
I know. Why do I look sad then? Because I was in Paris, but I didn't get to see any of the sights. I wasn't able to go to the Eiffel Tower or do anything really cool there because my business trip, basically I was stuck in the hotel the whole time because there was conferences being held and those were inside the hotel. It was a very big hotel. So we really only left a couple of times to go eat, and that was just right down the street.
Oh, well, I mean, at least you got to eat some great French food in Paris, right?
Well, you would think so, right?
Yeah.
Guess what I ate? Chinese food.
What?
There was a Chinese food restaurant, very convenient, and I wasn't the one who was planning anything, so somebody chose a Chinese restaurant to eat in France.
That's really too bad. I think you're gonna have to plan another trip to go back to Paris because Paris is an amazing city.
I know.
And I think you missed out.
I was really looking forward to it, and I'm actually pretty disappointed. So let's not talk about my business trip anymore and get into today's
All right,
lesson.
well, I hope we'll hear about a better business trip in part C.
Okay.
Linda is telling Eric about her trip.
How is your business trip to Frankfurt so far?
It's going well. The company sent a car to pick me up at the airport.
Okay, part C, a business trip. Business. What does that mean?
Business means buying or selling things. So usually, for example, if someone were to start an ice cream cart, one of those bapu bapu ice cream carts, and they're selling ice cream, then that is a business.
Okay.
And in this case, we're talking about a business trip. So if that ice cream seller were to take a trip to a different city to sell his ice cream, he would be on a business trip.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Yes.
All right, so here we have Linda is telling Eric about her trip. Her business trip, right?
Her business trip. That's
Okay,
right.
so I'll be Eric and you will be Linda.
Linda.
Did you know Linda means beautiful in Spanish?
Ooh, it's
So,
very suited for
very
me.
suitable.
Yes.
Okay, so Eric says, how is your business trip to Frankfurt so far?
Oh, okay. Frankfurt.
So that's in Germany.
That's right. It's a city right in the middle of Germany. And it's actually the biggest city. It's the city where the most airplanes fly into in Germany. So if you're taking a flight to Germany, you often fly into Frankfurt.
So it sounds like you've been to Frankfurt.
I have been to Frankfurt.
Do you like it? How was it?
It's fine.
Wait, so we learned before, fine, when you say it like that, doesn't sound like it was great.
Well, I was trying to go to Munich and Berlin, and then Frankfurt was fine.
Oh, so because you had to fly into Frankfurt to get to other
You
places.
take a train to the other
I've been
cities.
to Munich and I really enjoyed it,
Yes.
but I didn't go to Frankfurt because I took a train from another country
Right.
directly there. Okay, so Linda says,
It's going well. The company sent a car to pick me up at the airport.
okay,
Who's
so
the company?
so a company, we're just talking about a business, right? So a company is a business that is owned or controlled by many people or more than one person. So you can imagine in your ice cream situation, I want to join you in your business, then we can form a company and sell lots of ice cream.
Right, so maybe there'll be ice cream carts in all cities around the country.
Then we don't need to
That
take
would be-
business trips anymore. We'll just have another ice cream business in that area.
Right, and have a big ice cream company.
Ba-ba.
Bapu, bapu.
Bapu.
Okay, so Linda said that the company sent a car to pick her up. So to send means to cause something to go somewhere.
Right.
So that usually would mean, we use that often for like sending a letter to someone. You put it in the mail, you're causing it to go to the city that you wrote on it.
Yes.
But in this case, they sent a car. So that means that they're sending a car to get someone from somewhere and to take them somewhere else.
Right, so they're going to pick somebody up, right? So to pick someone up, to pick up means to take somebody or something in a vehicle usually, right? So you're going to take them from one place to another. In this situation, you're going to take them from the airport probably to the hotel or some other place.
Yeah, so as we saw in there, it said that they were going to pick her up. So in this case, it's a phrasal verb that we can break apart.
Pick up.
And we can use a pronoun in the middle. So pick her up.
Right.
We could also say pick Linda up. But when we put it together as pick up, we cannot say pick up her. So we cannot use the pronoun unless it's between the two words pick and up.
What if you say I want to pick up a girl?
Ooh, well, that's going to be up to you to explain that part.
Well, if you say to pick up somebody, that could mean that you're going to want to try to talk to them and maybe you can ask them on a date or something like that. But
Okay.
they don't mean that here.
I don't think that's how Linda's getting picked up at the airport. So she is at the airport. So this word comes from air and port, and a port is a place where boats park, actually, a place where you can get on a boat. In this case, we're talking about a place where you can go into the air on an airplane.
Right.
So it is an airport. It's the place you go to get on an airplane.
An airplane is kind of like a boat that flies, right?
If it's a seaplane.
Right, okay. All right, why don't we take a break and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
What time is it there now? Also, when did you arrive?
It's now noon on Friday, the 2nd, and I arrived at 7 this morning.
Okay, so you aren't going to the company today then?
Right. They gave me some time before our meeting.
That's cool. What date is the big meeting again?
It's next Monday, the 5th.
Welcome back. We're continuing with our dialogue, and we have Eric and Linda talking on the phone. And Linda is telling Eric about her business trip to Frankfurt. So what we know so far is that she arrived at the airport and that her company sent a car to pick her up.
Okay, so now Eric asks her, what time is it there now? Also, when did you arrive? Okay, so maybe there's like a time difference. He's probably pretty far away in another country, perhaps. So he's not really sure, what time is it there?
Yeah, he would have to be in another country if it's a different time zone there, I think.
Right.
So she says, it's now noon on Friday the 2nd, and I arrived at 7 this morning.
Okay, so Friday the 2nd, meaning the second day of whatever month that is, right?
Yeah, whatever month they are talking about.
Okay.
Also, she said that it is now noon, so noon being 12 o'clock in midday, and that's why after that time we say that's the afternoon. So.
Yeah, okay. And arrive is a verb. If you arrive somewhere, it means you reach a certain place. So if you arrive at a hotel, then that means that you have now reached the hotel. You've gotten to the hotel. So Eric says, okay, so you aren't going to the company today then?
Okay, so let's see why. So she says, right, they gave me some time before our meeting.
Oh, she's lucky.
Yeah.
Like when I went to Paris, they just took me straight from the airport to the hotel, and I was in a meeting within 20 minutes from arriving to the hotel. It was crazy.
Sounds like Linda's company is better than the company you work for.
Yes.
Because they sent a car to pick her up, and then they gave her time before the meeting, so they gave her lots of free time
Like a whole weekend.
to do what she wants, or I guess get ready for the meeting maybe.
Okay. So Eric says, that's cool. What date is the big meeting again?
And Linda says it's next Monday, the 5th.
Okay, again, the 5th of the whatever month they're talking
and so
about.
she arrived on the 2nd, and she's got until the 5th for her meeting. So she's got a few days to maybe explore Frankfurt.
Okay, so who's she meeting? What's a meeting?
A meeting means when people meet. So in this case, we're talking about a business meeting. So it's when people who work at a company will come together to talk about the company, talk about what they need to do, talk about maybe
Some project they're working
you know,
on or something?
selling a new flavor of ice cream.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they might need a meeting to decide what the best new flavor is.
Yeah. And I noticed here she says next Monday, right? And then she says the 5th. Because I think a lot of times when we're in English, when we're talking about the next Monday or next Tuesday or next week, sometimes that could get confusing.
Does get confusing. I actually had a friend last week. Last week he asked me, what are you doing next weekend? And I said, no plans, because I thought he meant not the next weekend, but the weekend in the next week.
Right. So for example, if it's Thursday, you thought it's going to be like 9 days later, but he meant
Yes.
in 2 days on that Saturday. But that's always the confusion. What should he say then?
So to make it more clear, you can say this weekend if you mean the weekend that comes.
The next one.
Yeah, if
right?
you mean the next one.
So confusing.
Yeah. So usually when we mean the next one, it means in the next week. But in this case, that's not what she meant. Oh yes, it is in the next week, but it's also the next Monday.
So you can see how confusing it is. So that's why it's really useful when you can give the date. So if you say, next weekend on the 3rd, then people know very clearly because there's a date.
Yes, so it avoids the confusion, and that's why learning to talk about time and date is very useful. And
we do it all the time, right? We're always
all
making
the
plans all the time. So definitely pay attention to this lesson, and that's all the time we have for today. Hope you had a great time with us.
Hope so too. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Linda is telling Eric about her trip.
How is your business trip to Frankfurt so far?
It's going well. The company sent a car to pick me up at the airport.
What time is it there now? Also, when did you arrive?
It's now noon on Friday, the 2nd, and I arrived at 7 this morning.
Okay, so you aren't going to the company today then?
Right. They gave me some time before our meeting.
That's cool. What date is the big meeting again?
It's next Monday, the 5th.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 business 名词，商业、生意。这个字后面很常接 trip， 表示出差 business trip。那这个出差也可以用 on business 来表达。My dad was in London on business last week. 我爸上周在伦敦出差。下一个单字 company 名词，公司。My brother works for a software company. 我哥哥在一间软体公司上班。Software 就是软体。下一个单字 send 动词派遣、派送，它的三态是 send, sent. They sent a doctor to Peter's home. 他们派了一位医生去 Peter 家。最后一个单字 airport 名词，机场。My dad will pick me up at the airport. 我爸爸会来机场接我。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 so far 到目前为止，这是一个副词片语。我们来看一看这个例句。We have raised $1,000 so far, but it's not enough. 我们到目前为止募款了$1000，但还是不够。Raise 就是募款。下一个文法 It's going well 还不错，很顺利。Go well 表示事情进展顺利。我们来看看这个对话。 How was your interview? 你的面试如何啊？ It went well. I think I will get the job. 很顺利，我认为我会得到这份工作。下一个文法 pick up 以车接送，这是一个可以分开的动词片语。我们来看看这个例句 Can you pick me up after work? 你可以来接我下班吗？以上就是这一课的重点单词跟文法，我们下一课再见喽，拜拜。
Hi everyone, I'm Stephen.
And I'm Matt.
We're going to play a game called Guess the Bear, where each of us has 3 words or phrases on these cards. We're going to read 2 sentence examples for each one, and we're going to say the word bear instead of the actual word, and you have 1 minute to guess all 3. Let's start the timer. Okay, your first one is a noun, 1 word. Number 1, this bear manufactures parts for coffee machines. Number 2, he now works for a bear that sells medical equipment.
Company?
There you go. All right, this is a noun, 1 word. Number 1, he is planning to fly out of San Francisco's Bear. Number 2, we were late getting to the Bear and missed our flight.
I think there's only one kind of place you can fly out of, so it must be an airport.
A cafeteria? Yeah, airport.
Airport,
Right,
okay.
there you go. A phrase,
Okay.
2 words. Number 1, Alex is going to bear his son from school. Number 2, I need to bear my mom at the airport.
Airport came back in this one. Okay, I pick up?
There you go. Ding, ding, ding.
That one, yeah.
Well, that one could have been drop off, right? Alex is going to drop
yeah,
off
I
his
didn't
son
think
from
of it.
school. Oh, and from school. So that's
It's
a
from
preposition.
school, so yeah.
And then I need to drop off my mom at the airport. That could have been drop off, right?
That one could have been, but because the other one was from school, you couldn't drop off from school.
Right.
So.
If it was drop off, it'd be Alex is going to drop off his son at
At
school.
school, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yours is pretty easy.
Well, I'm pretty smart.
Okay.
All right, it's your turn. Let's
All
see
right.
how you do. 1 minute on the clock, let's go. Your first one is a noun. His wife is currently out of town on bear. My grandparents ran their own bear for 50 years.
This could be business.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay, next one is a verb.
All right.
The company bared their best salesman to close the deal. Someone is injured here. Please bear an ambulance.
Send.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right, next one is a phrase and it's 2 words.
Okay.
We've finished 10 of the 12 steps, bear. I'm really making progress on my project. Bear, so good.
Oh, this one's really easy too.
Yes.
So far.
That's
So
right.
far, so good. But the first one, what was the first sentence?
The first one was, we've finished 10 of the 12 steps so far.
Okay, that
Yeah.
one, if it was just that sentence, I wouldn't have.
Well, that
gotten it.
expression, people use that a lot, so far, so good.
So far,
so
so
once
good.
those go together, so you know that, like, when you heard that sentence,
can only be that.
I knew you would get it.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
See you next time.